I'm Julie Sonnemann. I'm the Deputy Chair of the Song Room. I work in education research. In my previous roles, I've spent almost a decade at the Grattan Institute writing reports for governments and for schools, helping to translate what the evidence says is best practice in school education. I'm interested in all areas of schooling, from lifting the quality of instruction and curriculum, but also through to how can we really support student wellbeing and school belonging and the interplay between the two, given that we know how important it is to develop the whole child. Look, over the past 30 years, there's been huge changes in what we expect from schools today. It's a little bit like when you boil the frog slowly and you increase the temperature gradually over time, that you don't quite know how you got to where you are today. For teachers, we have increased what we expect effective teaching entails. So, to differentiate and personalise to students in the classrooms, to use data. There's a whole host of reporting now that exists that didn't previously. For schools, we ask them to deliver much more than what we used to. So not only on the academics, but, in terms of building student resilience, looking at mental health issues, building a wider range of skills for students, so around teamwork, communication, creativity, and we've done this also at a time when we've also had big shifts in terms of inclusion and now catering to students with additional needs in the classroom. All of these shifts are undoubtedly for the positive, and I think what we would all agree, what we would want from schooling education, but operationally, this has big implications for schools. There's two big challenges at the moment in Australia, I'd say, particularly around wellbeing for students. We know that roughly about half of all adult mental health challenges emerge before the age of 14. So this is something that schools really need to be on top of. And the second is around behaviour. So Australian classrooms are notoriously disruptive. I think in an OECD survey, we were 69 out of 76 countries in terms of our results for how orderly the classroom environment is for learning. These are big challenges for teachers and school staff. We know teachers say they don't feel well equipped to deal with these things in the classroom, and they're also really stretched in terms of their time. I think we can look to the arts as a vehicle to help with some of these challenges. When you look at the evidence, the arts can impact a whole range of areas, both from academic and non-academic. I think probably the best evidence summary on the impact of the arts is by the Education Endowment Foundation in the UK. They're an independent organisation that does really rigorous evidence summaries using gold standard research standards. They show that when you look at arts interventions like around dance, drama, music, painting, that there is a consistently positive effect on academic outcomes of about 3 months of additional progress is what's estimated, as well as other benefits around positive attitudes to learning, increased school engagement, increased student wellbeing, increase in attendance, as well as a sense of school belonging. And we've seen these benefits in both primary and secondary schools. I think one of my favourite pieces of research is a study in the US that was in Houston, where they took 42 schools and through a lottery, so they randomly allocated which schools might receive extra funding for arts activities. And when they did that, they compared the two groups of schools, those that had the extra funding for the arts activities and had extra arts programs compared to those that didn't. They consistently found that the schools that had the arts experiences had a whole range of benefits in terms of reduced discipline problems, improvements in students' social skills, increased levels of empathy amongst students in terms of how they think and feel about others, increased school engagement, and even improvements in writing skills as well. But I think one of the biggest challenges is, even though we know that these types of initiatives can work, teachers are stretched. And at the moment in Australia, we have generalist teachers who are delivering arts education in schools. Often these teachers don't necessarily have a background in this area. And we know that in initial teacher education, teachers will only receive maybe 8 hours across all of their teaching degree, um, in music and arts education. So we really need to do a lot more to be building their skills and confidence. One of the ways that you can do that is through on-the-job coaching in schools. We know that professional learning often works best when it's close to practice and on the job. And look, this is an area where the Song Room does that really well, where you have a model of teaching artists working hand in hand alongside teachers in their classroom, in their environments, building capabilities on how to do these types of interventions a lot better. We know arts programs can deliver a whole wide range of benefits for student wellbeing, social and emotional skills, connectedness to school, student attendance, as well as academics. But I think given the challenges for busy teachers, we need to think about the most efficient way to upskill our teachers in these areas in their day job. And I'd really encourage schools to be looking to initiatives like the Song Room as one of maybe a suite of solutions to make improvements.